Chris Hemsworth apparently might not return to Marvel.
And we didn't see eye to eye on that. And sadly, and I still love the character, I still love to do it, but I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, right? It just paid me what I made the first season.
And this wouldn't be that surprising because he has expressed in the past that he's kind of getting bored of his character and he doesn't like the way Thor's being treated in the MCU.
We're extremely realistic and I'm very objective about that business, and there have been some disappointments.
You guys can forget seeing the Avengers suit up again because the stars just quit and signed new contracts with DC Comics. Yeah, it's that serious, but clearly Disney pushed them right to the edge. When your own heroes walk out on you, maybe you're the real villain.
Yeah, it's everything. It's like it's 38 broken bones and eyeballs out.
Oh my God.
It started with a man crushed by 14,000 pounds of machinery. Jeremy Renner, the guy who played Hawkeye, nearly lost his life in a snowplow accident. Over 30 bones shattered, a collapsed lung, metal rods holding him together. The world watched him fight through recovery.
I told him to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer.
And just when he stood back up, Disney came knocking, not with flowers or gratitude, but with an offer so insulting it made headlines. Half the pay for Hawkeye Season 2. Same platform, same workload, half the money. Renner said it himself. Go fly a kite. How does a company cash in billions off your face, then act like they forgot your name the moment you're in a hospital bed? Renner wasn't alone. His story just happened to be the first one loud enough to break through the Disney PR fog. Quietly, other Avengers began murmuring the same thing. Overworked, underappreciated, completely replaceable. It wasn't just about bad contracts. It was about how those contracts became a leash. And the people behind the biggest superhero franchise in cinema history, they were chained to a machine that had stopped caring whether they were okay.
So what's causing the downslide of Disney stock?
This wasn't burnout. This wasn't a rough patch. This was years of mounting tension inside the Marvel machine. And the thing that tipped it over wasn't a new villain or a box office bomb. It was corporate greed, dressed up in a smiling mouse costume. Disney didn't just lose these actors, they broke them. Because when you treat billion-dollar faces like low-budget interns, don't expect them to stick around. Was the MCU ever about the heroes, or just the merchandise they sold? Let's not forget where this all started. The MCU used to be unstoppable. One franchise after another crushed global box offices. Billion-dollar openings weren't rare. They were expected. These actors became household names. Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth. They didn't just act in movies. They were the movies. Fans didn't show up for just the explosions. They showed up for them, and Disney knew it. Which makes what happened next even worse. It got worse with time. As Disney shifted focus from storytelling to shareholder reports, the creativity dried up. Actors weren't collaborators anymore. They were assets, replaceable, tradable, stored away until the next sequel needed a cameo. That's why Jeremy Renner's "go fly a kite" moment hit so hard. It wasn't just about a bad offer. It was a wake-up call. If Disney could do that to Hawkeye, what would stop them from doing it to Iron Man, Black Widow, or Thor?
How much of your body did it run over?
All of it.
Oh my God.
Coming back to Renner's story in detail. In early 2023, Jeremy Renner's name was trending, but not because of a red carpet or blockbuster premiere. He was crushed under a 14,000-pound snowplow while trying to save his nephew. 30 bones broken, a collapsed lung.
They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money.
The man had rods in his legs and screws holding him together. And yet, within months, Disney came calling. Not to support him, but to lowball him. They offered him half the pay for a second season of Hawkeye. Not a new role, not less screen time. The same job with twice the physical toll for half the money. Renner's response was blunt. Go fly a kite. When survival becomes a reason for a pay cut, what exactly is loyalty worth in Hollywood?
And so 8 months of my time, essentially, and to do it for half the amount. I'm like, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over?
That wasn't just a contract dispute. It was personal. Renner wasn't asking for a raise. He was asking not to be devalued. A man who helped fuel a billion-dollar franchise came out of a life-threatening accident, and the best Disney could do was treat him like a budget cut. It wasn't even Marvel directly. It was Disney's number crunchers. the people who make decisions without knowing or caring who they're making them about. They saw a wounded actor and thought, great, maybe now he'll accept less. If Jeremy Renner became a number on a spreadsheet, what does that make the rest of them?
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to the set of challenges that this business is already facing. It is really a shame.
Around the same time, CEO Bob Iger gave his infamous interview. While pocketing $31.6 million, he described actors' demands as unrealistic. That word hit a nerve, because what these actors wanted wasn't absurd. They wanted respect, fair pay, creative space, and watching Renner get that offer while Iger defended it publicly flipped a switch. If Disney could do this to someone who literally broke himself making content for them, then no one was safe. What does it say when the people saving the world on screen can't even protect themselves behind it?
In a recent interview, he cast doubt about whether or not he'll actually return, and so many people are assuming that he might actually never return to the MCU.
Then comes Chris Hemsworth. He wasn't loud, but his message was clear. I'm feeling a little overworked. Translation: burned out by endless shoots, stunts, and press tours that leave nothing in the tank. And then there was Robert Downey Jr., the very face of Marvel's rise, now being treated like a museum exhibit. Someone to roll out for a quick cameo if the numbers dip. Not a partner, a propriedad. What kind of machine chews through its icons just to keep the engine running? While Disney was busy pushing away the very stars that built its empire, Netflix was already in the background, watching it all unravel. They weren't rushing, they were waiting, because when a studio like Disney bleeds talent, the smart players don't just react, they plan. Netflix came in with something Disney never even considered offering: real power. Not better trailers or red carpet perks, but control, creative authority, ownership, final say, things Disney never handed out, even to the people whose faces sold out stadium-sized theaters. It wasn't a random play. Netflix had been preparing this move for years, watching Disney grow more corporate, more risk-averse, more robotic. They saw the gap opening and walked straight through it with contracts that didn't just flatter egos, they shifted the power dynamic entirely. What Disney had trained its stars to expect as limits, Netflix flipped into opportunity. Acting was only part of it. These actors were producing now, directing, world-building, owning. Isn't it wild how fast a studio forgets who made it famous until a rival comes along and remembers? And that's how we ended up with a new lineup that's somehow more interesting than anything Marvel's put out in the last 3 years. While the stars were moving on and Netflix was gaining ground, Disney went into full panic mode. Internal memos started leaking, and none of it looked good. The big strategy? Reboot without legacy. That's what they called it. They planned to de-age original characters using AI, recast them with cheaper faces, and turn the old Avengers into myth. Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye. They'd all become historical footnotes, not actual people, not actors with contracts or opinions, just frozen, digital copies of who they used to be. When a studio chooses AI clones over the people who made them rich, what are they really preserving? Story or control? The internet didn't let this slide. Fans weren't quiet. Hashtags blew up overnight. Ibrice pay your heroes. Reassemble at Netflix. Let them go. These weren't your average trend of the day rants. These were fans turning on the very studio they'd defended for years. People weren't just angry, they felt betrayed. And the quote that spread like wildfire came from an internal Disney email. If Netflix drops Renner's show during Hawkeye reruns, it'll look like we fired the guy for getting injured. That was it. That was the nail. What kind of leadership admits they're scared of how the truth might look instead of fixing what caused it? But now, as the dust settles, something else is rising. The actors who walked away aren't looking back. They're done with being studio property. They want creative freedom. They want relationships, not contracts. Apple's offering Downey Jr. $100 million for a prestige limited series. Netflix and Apple aren't building franchises. They're building platforms around talent. And talent isn't just following, they're leading. Marvel made them legends, but now they're writing their own scripts. The MCU model is collapsing. The future doesn't belong to studios who cling to contracts. It belongs to the people who broke free. They thought they could own the Avengers, but the Avengers just avenged themselves. And in the silence that followed, one line echoed louder than ever: "We're out." So guys, what's your take on this? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to know more about this.